I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And this is The Coin Show. On episode 157 of the Coin Show podcast.
Gosh.
Yeah. Matt and I are going to, we're going to talk about, let's see, I don't know. We're going to talk about what's going on with me and what's new in my job. I'm going to talk about the book Curious Currency, as I have a review of that. Matt's going to talk about the coolest thing that walked into his shop this week. And as always, the news. This episode of the Coin Show podcast is brought to you by all the fabulous people that support us and our endeavors by going to www.patreon.com/thecoinshow. God bless them. Thank you. We really appreciate them.
Yeah.
The news, on the other hand, is brought to you by hand sanitizer. Lots and lots of hand sanitizer. If you can't wash your hands, and you should wash your hands, we can help. We're hand sanitizer.
I don't think they need any advertising from us.
Oh, you know what? I heard a really funny story, and I got to give this to you. So I heard a really funny story from a retail store.
Okay.
That the guy was supposed to put in a reorder for everything. You know, people have just wiped out his store.
Sure.
And he says, I got a better idea. What he did was he sent a list to his district manager of the stuff that was left over. And he said, get rid of this stuff. It doesn't sell.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's nuts. There's a lot of weird stuff going on right now, but I want to talk about coins tonight, buddy.
Well, I do too. And I want to tell you, I actually want to give you a COVID-19 free episode. Unfortunately, it's just the news of the world right now. And even our news covers that same stuff. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But that's it. Let's see. The worldwide nightmare, currently known as coronavirus, has reached global pandemic status. The World Health Organization declared last week that the virus had reached pandemic proportions worldwide, a pretty much worst case scenario. The virus has been spread so widely and quickly that the best way to combat it is to isolate and distance oneself from the general public. Now, Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan declared a state of emergency under which the Baltimore Convention Center suspended operations, which in turn caused the Whitman Coin and Collectibles Expo to be closed for all bourse activities, which I think means canceled, but worded in such a way that the auctions can still be held, but online at another site.
So the thing with this, and the reason why it went down the way it did, is these big coin shows are insured against stuff like this. So if, say, Whitman, the company, comes along and says, okay, guys, you know, we're not going to have this show, then they're responsible for refunding all the table fees for the dealers. But if the city or the government or somebody else convention center comes along and cancels it, then they can actually file an insurance claim on the...
Right. And the insurance kicks in and everybody still gets paid as far as the convention center and all that other kind of stuff. And, you know, look, this is going to go down as one of the events of my lifetime.
Right.
I hope that it's the worst event of your lifetime, you know, because I just hope nothing ever really comes along worse than this. But, I mean, really, with me, And what I keep on thinking about is the economic impact of all this stuff. You know, it's like it's likely that we're going to recover, and we're going to recover pretty quickly because our economy is really strong. And I mean, we can never really make up the lost productivity.
Right.
So as an economic impact, there will be, one, but the effects should be more short term than long.
And Baltimore, it's not the only show they canceled either, which
No, and yeah, we'll get to that later. So amid this national pause, the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee will meet via teleconference March 10th and 11th. So the teleconference will be open to the public as long as they have in the past. In fact, I think it's kind of a funny outcome that if you'd like to attend the meeting in person, in other words, sit in a room with a bunch of monitors or speakers, because committee won't be physically attending, you can. That's the way it's set up. So up to 50 people will be accommodated in the conference room. A simpler solution in my mind is that you can actually do this. You can dial into the conference call.
Right.
Access will be listen only. Phones must be muted so as not to disturb the discussion of the committee. But, look, you're not going to have any better advantage than a teleconference anyway at this point. So why not just join the conference call and why go and sit in a room with 49 other people?
I have a feeling that room's going to be pretty empty, to be honest.
It's amazing. People are at least listening to advice, which is contrary to what I've ever seen.
Right.
And it's good because, the next couple of weeks are going to be very, very key as far as what happens. So all you got to do is kind of keep it tamped down and keep it isolated, and we can make a dent in it.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the news that you were talking about earlier. The Central States Numismatic Convention has announced its programs and schedule for the 2020 show. Now, I wrote this last night before they canceled the show, but it was kind of interesting that I said, I wonder how tentative this schedule is, as the latest updates from the CDC are recommending that we not assemble in numbers for the next 2 months. And this show will fall right in the middle of that period. Whether it's canceled or not at this point will still create havoc, as people will not attend as strongly and participate as strongly in the auctions or meetings if they're unsure it will take place at all. Another economic impact. But
we could count them.
Yeah. There's just going to be a lot of them. But, like I said, I think I'm very hopeful about it because I think the economy is strong and I think that we'll bounce back quickly. Now, that's just a matter of being patient and waiting for things to pass. And yes, it's going to be enduring some pain. It's like, but there's a difference between biting the bullet and chewing on the gun.
Never heard that before. That's good. I like it.
Numismatic news is so in news that from the latest show that actually did happen, the auctions at the National Money Show in Atlanta were very successful.
Yeah.
Numismatic News is reporting that an 1895 Morgan dollar in NGC Proof 67 hammered at $100,000, and when combined with the 20% buyer's fee, brought $120K.
That's a lot of money, buddy.
That's a lot of money.
An
1844 seated Liberty dollar graded Proof 64 CAM by PCGS, verified by CAC, brought $72,000. As expected, the Templeton Reed $2.50 broke records, as did a set of Bainbridge silver medals, I think. And a Kellogg and Humbert gold ingot recovered from the SS Central America received a top bid of $170,000, $204,000 after the buyer's premium.
That's insane. I never want to own one of those.
Well, it's just an ingot. How?
Yeah,
is it about the size of one of those Harrison Marchand?
Yeah. It was how much? 97 ounces.
I didn't see that. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see. What does it say? Yeah, there was a 97.7 ounce bar that brought $204,000 all day.
Okay, well, I gotta hate to ask what the melt is.
What?
It's not gotta be that far off.
Yeah, not really. No. Let me see. 97.7.
Well.
We'll call it Yeah, I mean, at today's gold prices, about $144,000 or so.
Yeah, and that's after the recent
Yeah.
bottom. So,
The other day it was more. So,
Numismatic News is also reporting that PMG has certified the quote holy grail of uncut currency.
oh boy, let's see. Let me wait. Yeah, okay, I see it. And
Now, on March 5th, PMG announced that they had certified a group of 7 of the greatest uncut sheets of U.S. banknotes in existence. These 7 sheets all belong to and highlight a single collection, the Monarch Collection, which is a collection of U.S. paper money assembled decades ago before the advent of paper money certification.
right.
So the centerpiece of the Monarch Collection, according to the Numismatic News article, is what they called the, quote, holy grail of uncut national banknotes, a sheet of 4 serial number 1 notes from the first charter of national bank notes issued starting in 1865. Now, I'm really fuzzy and don't understand this. How can you have 3 notes, all the same denomination, that all have serial number 1?
Because they have different plate positions. If you look at the bottom right-hand side of the picture, right in here, just below the word dollar, you'll see a little A, a little B, and a little C. And that is the plate positions. So that's...
But that's enough to make it a different bill?
Yep, and the
Do
Nationals,
they
that's
still
what they do.
currently follow that practice?
No, that's an old practice.
Okay. That probably explains why. So
See, the thing...
famed...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the famed serial number 1 sheet, the only first charter serial number 1 sheet known, is graded PMG 55, about uncirculated, and pedigreed to the Grinnell Collection, which was the most prestigious assemblage of U.S. paper money at the time of its sale in the 1940s. The Monarch Collection also includes 5 uncut sheets with a provenance traced to 1923 when they were set aside by special request for Register of the Treasury Harley V. Spielman, whose signature appears on the notes. The quintet features uncut sheets of 2 of the most iconic U.S. notes, the $10 Bison and the $5 Chief.
Huh.
So, I mean, that's a monster sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of take an exception to them calling this the holy grail of uncut national notes because I hate to. I mean, I guess I don't know if they're just trying to fluff it up
I think
a
they're
little bit.
totally trying to hype it.
I think they are because number 1 sheets and notes are not uncommon when it comes to nationals, even original charter nationals, because a lot of the times the bank president would take the number 1 sheet or buy the number 1 sheet and have it, keep it. So it's not, these are things that were actually kept.
Well, I would understand exactly why they'd want it too. That
Sure.
was their bank.
Sure,
and
yeah.
they always started with number 1. So there is a 1 for every single one.
Right.
It's not,
Like
I
I've
see
owned
your
a
point.
I've owned a
So-
sheet of number 1 notes, nationals. I mean, they exist.
yeah, there's probably way more of them than you think.
Yeah. So to call it the Holy Grail, I mean, yeah. But
Well,
whatever.
it is a collection of all this stuff. So
It's neat.
the final sheet in the Monarch Collection is a unique 1896 educational series $1 sheet. Its design is considered to be one of the most beautiful in all of U.S. paper money.
Yes, I like $1 educationals.
Yeah.
But the fives are nicer.
The Royal Canadian Mint has announced the largest gold maple leaf coin ever.
The largest gold maple leaf coin ever.
Ever.
So
Now,
truck
this one
tires.
is struck in 5 nines pure gold and
Ooh.
weighing in an enormous 10 kilos.
So that's 32.1 ounces or 10 kilos. So
10 kilos. So yeah, 320
320.1 ounces. No.
or no,
321 ounces.
321.5 ounces. Or no, 321 ounces. You're right.
Yeah.
It's 32.1 in a kilo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
321 ounces.
But okay,
The
so
coin features a $100,000 Canadian denomination.
but it's not the largest gold coin they've ever struck. It's just the largest maple leaf they've ever struck.
Right. This coin is not just a large version of the maple leaf. It captures all the detail in high relief. So it's one of those things where sometimes when they make the large version, it looks cartoonish. They're claiming that this has all the relief and all the detail.
Like my
Again,
question is
hype.
why?
My question is about 5.9's pure gold.
All right. I mean, this is one of those things that they're just doing it because they can.
But okay, now we're going to start getting into like metallurgical fact and fiction. So, I mean, how does one go about what is the most pure you can get? Gold.
I think 5.9 is it right now.
Well, 4.9's was it for a long time.
Yeah, technology. Yeah. I mean, technology improves, and
I know, but I mean, you're talking about things on a molecular level at this point.
right. Oh, I agree with you. I think 3.9 is good enough for me. But yeah, they're on to 5 now, so good for them.
So the coin is available to the public based on the market price for gold at the time of purchase, plus a small premium for manufacturing and a low mintage, whatever that means. It sounds like a luxury tax to me.
Yeah, it sounds like meant to order.
But it's not one of these where, hey, the Royal Canadian Mint has made this gigantic coin. Here it is. Wow. This one is, hey, if you really want one, you can have it. You want to join the peeing contest. Well, I mean, that's all I really see these coins.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
It's just a giant. Anyways, so the United States Mint will release the 2024 coin gold set on March 19th. I would expect initial sales to be strong as the price of gold has significantly dropped in the past week, and the price of these coins will reflect that lower price.
Are we sure?
The packaging has changed this year. The velvet box is now hinged like the Silver Eagle boxes and elongated to show all 4 coins in a row. I think it's a more efficient package, and I actually like it better.
I'd like to see one in hand, but I mean, the picture looks cool.
Yeah, well, I've never been a fan of the storybook type holders or cases that they send them in. You have 4 coins, and it's still a thing that's this big, and it's just too big.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a foot long, every bit of.
I don't think it's that long. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so to say, my guess is probably 7 inches.
Yeah, maybe thereabouts.
Insert your joke here. U.S. Mint Artistic Infusion Programmer participant Donna Weaver will be signing select NGC labels.
Donna Weaver.
So, Donna Weaver. The artist's signature will grace select inserts for the 2020 W-Proof nickels, as well as the 2020 Basketball Hall of Fame commemorative coins. Both coins feature Weaver's designs. So she designed the Return to Monticello, the forward-facing Jefferson, which is creepy. And, well, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think we've kind of covered that one.
Especially when he gets circulated a little bit. He looks like he was in a fight.
Oh, see, I never really thought you'd cut me, Mick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and she also designed the 2020 Basketball Fame commemorative.
Cool.
Yeah, so coins with the special edition inserts will be available through selected retailers rather than through NGC. Images of the label will be made available at a time closer to the coin's April release date.
Huh. Neat.
Now, in more numismatic type news, the 2nd annual Newman Grant program is underway. Newman Grants are designed to financially assist numismatic authors and organizations pursuing original research in American numismatics. Awards are granted in the amounts of $1,000 and $5,000. Electronic publications will actually receive favor, as more of the grant money will go to actually fund research rather than publishing costs. So they're upfront about that. All awardees agree to non-exclusive publication of their research on the numismatic portal.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So, yeah, I think so too. I think that if you want to do a research project about coins and it's original, numismatic research, here's a chance to have somebody else pay for it. So applications can be found on the Newman Numismatic Portal and should be submitted to NNP Curator at wustl.edu by April 1st, 2020. Awards will be announced on May 25th, 2020, on the late Eric P. Newman's birthday.
Cool. That's neat.
That is neat. And I always like seeing grants and scholarships and love to pass those on whenever I can. Exclusive PCGS autographed Hall of Fame coin certificates of authenticity have been canceled. Say that 10 times fast.
Huh?
Okay, so no Final Four, no Fan Fest. More to come, as I'm sure PCGS will find a way to create an event. But they were going to do an autograph session at the Final Four. And now the Final Four is so
It's kaput.
Right, but I'm sure PCGS will figure out some way to get exclusive autographed Hall of Fame certificates. We'll see. And finally, in the news, the U.S. Mint has announced a temporary sellout of silver American Eagles. Yeah.
Of course they did.
Yeah, of course they did. Sales are up from last year and have depleted the stockpile. I don't know what effect the huge drop in silver over the past week has done to affect the availability of the coins. Insert your own, insert your own, what do you call it? Conspiracy scenario here.
Get your tinfoil hats out, kids.
Yeah, I mean, really, seriously, it's like, look, the U.S. Mint sold more in January and February than they did in January, February, and last year. So it does make sense that they may have, I mean, they're not going to make 100,000 Eagles and say, okay, you can come and pick up 10,000, because people have to send armored trucks to West Point to pick this stuff up.
Right.
So, they're going to send an entire armored truck. That's not going to be, 10,000 ounces. It's going to be quite a bit more. So, they do have to stockpile a lot before they kind of say, yeah, we're back in business.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily pay for them to fire up the presses to make 10 or 12,000 coins. So,
but I do think it's really, really interesting. The silver prices have dropped over $4 an ounce, or almost 25% in the past 30 days.
Yeah, it's been really nuts. Again, more economic impact from all this craziness that's going on.
Yeah, that's the world we live in, bud. I mean, big stuff happens. This is, I mean, look, I'm kind of mixed about the whole thing. I want to feel like, this is a huge event, and I guess it is, but I think that the evolution of our world means that it's getting smaller. And with the world getting smaller, stuff will spread faster. That's just kind of the nature of humans.
I'm not going to speculate on that. I've been hearing junk about this all day, and I'm tired of it.
It's like, I don't know. Okay.
Sorry, not to poop on your parade there, but boy, it's there's just a lot of it going on, and my kids are out of school.
I'm tired
for
of
a
it
month.
too, and I think
the city's going to probably close our office.
This show should be a respite from it, but you just can't talk about the news without talking news.
That's true.
It is worldwide news. So that's it. End of discussion. The rest of this will be COVID-19 free.
Hopefully.
I'm waiting for COVID-20 before I
it'll be an early release.
This episode of the Coin Show podcast has been brought to you by hand sanitizer. Lots and lots of hand sanitizer. If you can't wash your hands, we can help. We're hand sanitizer. Wash your damn hands. Jesus.
I love it. Oh, boy.
Okay. So, we usually like to take this opportunity to answer listener questions, but we don't have any this week. So I figure we could talk a little bit more about my new job.
Yeah, how's that going?
Hear about it. It's going great. I mean, it's what are
you, week 4 now? 4 weeks?
5. I'm in week 5.
Wow.
I'm experienced, dude.
You made it.
Yeah, well, the boss even said I'm learning.
You're learning.
Yeah,
You've been there 5 weeks in a full-service coin shop, and you're learning, buddy. You're learning. That's good.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's been It's been quite the experience. I understand where people get jaded. I understand some of the drudgery of the job, which is just you just don't think about that part of it.
Have you had any of the real crazy customers in there yet? Like I'll give you an example. We had a guy in the other day who wanted me, I actually wanted Evan to look at his 1992 penny because under his microscope he saw Bart Simpson riding his dog on the back of the coin.
No, you're
no. I wish I was kidding. I wish I was kidding. That's 100% truth. Okay, and he was wondering if we had ever seen that before.
I've got a question for you. Are there any meth labs near your shop?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I just.
He was 1,000% serious.
Did he seem to be intoxicated?
No, he was with his wife. Older guy, wow. probably your age, maybe a little older, with his wife.
Bart Simpson
was riding his dog.
Bart Simpson have a dog?
I think so, but still, it's just that kind of stuff is more what I'm after. Like we get people like this guy must have been YouTubing or Etsying, and then getting out his Dino-Light magnifier microscope and hooking up to his computer, and those are the worst because no matter what you say as a coin dealer, as somebody that does this for a living, you're 100% wrong because whatever they saw on the internet.
Oh yeah, because you're ripping them off.
Yeah, well
I had a guy came in today.
Don't get in trouble.
He told me he had a 63 or 64 Kennedy half. I'm like, it's a 64, and he's like, no, it might be a 60. I'm like, no, it's a 64.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth a couple of times on that. And then he was saying, it's like he saw an article where one sold for $100,000. Well, yes, there was one that recently did, and that's a special coin. And it was a special mint set coin?
Yeah, special mint set strike.
Yeah. So I said, there are only like 4 or 5 of these that are known. They belong to the mint director, and they came from her estate. I said, so unless you can kind of, trace your coin back to her estate, the chances of your coin being one of those coins that's worth all the money are very, very slim.
Right.
And he's like, oh, no. And I'm like, he's like, no. I said, because we were going back and forth so much on 63, 64, I told him, I said, if you got a 63, I said, it's worth a lot of money. He says, what if it's worth a lot of? I said, I'll tell you what, you got a 63, you bring it into the shop. Okay, you bring it in and we'll look at it, we'll talk. I said, but what you got to understand is that Kennedy was assassinated in late November of 1963. There wasn't enough time to create a coin and date it. It just wasn't, it was released in 64, which was still really fast turnaround.
No matter what you say, they don't want to. They don't want to hear it.
God.
I deal with that every day, at least once a day.
Well, I get a fair contingent of the homeless population that comes in, and look, we're in downtown Chicago, so there's a fair amount of people that are indigenous to that area, and as
indigenous
such,
peoples.
They've been trained very well, though. They're polite when they come in. And it's like, and if we can help them as far as because people give them foreign money and stuff like that.
Right.
So if it's something that we buy or something that we can trade, we'll do that for them. But other than that, it's like, we'll look at everything they bring in. They're like, I got this 64D nickel. This thing's got to be silver and, all this kind of stuff. So, but they're generally well behaved, generally pretty good.
Right.
And, they're not a nuisance. They're not as bad as your guy.
Oh, man. That was good. So do you have a favorite regular customer yet? I know that in our office we have a bunch of regulars.
Yes, I do actually.
You don't have to name names. Don't name names, but
no, I don't.
But
So there's a guy that came in, and he had a Dansko album with a set of Walking Liberty halves in it, and he said that he had put it. He had somebody that I think worked in our shop that had put it together for
Okay.
And he says, I'm interested in the next set. And I'm like, well, the next set's Franklin. So I
Yeah.
said, this, really, really easy. So he's like, okay. He says, well, if I buy the album, we'll put a set together. I'm like, sure. So I managed to put a set together out of the junk box
Yeah, you can do that.
because there are no rare dates. There's no nothing. So I put him together a nice circulated set of Franklins, and we charged him just over melt for it. And he was like really super happy. And he's like, hey, this is really great. He says, so now he's bought a Kennedy book.
You've created
And
a
I'm currently
monster.
working on that. Yeah. So I'm only missing a few of them actually. Of course, the 70D. So him and I are going to have to talk about that one because that's just one that you got to get out of a mid set.
Right, sure.
But I actually have a bunch of Kennedy halves sitting around that are after 1996 when they only sold them to collectors in rolls.
Right.
I have a bunch of those sitting around, so it's like, okay, here, drop one in, drop one. And it's just there's no proofs in the set. I recommended he didn't do the proofs because it's like then you got the silver proofs.
Yeah, it's
So
a
like,
much smaller
you're just
album.
spending a bunch of money
Right.
to bust up sets.
Yeah, it's a much smaller album without the proofs.
Yeah, and you're never going to get the money back on it.
No.
So, my opinion, why bother?
Cool. No, that's fun. That's the one thing that I still love about going in the office is my regulars. The guys that just come in. They know they're excited about it. They love it. So I like those guys. So
yeah, it's cool. There are people that come in that are just really enthusiastic about collecting and about coins.
right.
And anything that you can do to spark that a little bit more is great. But I was reminded by my boss today, look, you can't look at things as a collector anymore.
Nope.
You do this for a living now.
Yep, that's right.
He said you make your livelihood at this, so you have to look at it a different way.
That's right. You got any fun, cool projects or anything else you're working on here? You can talk about. I don't want to hear any trade secrets from the store, but
You know what? I mean, we don't really do trades. There are things that come in that no, you can't talk about, but I just never talk
Sure.
about them. But no, we have a really wide variety of people that stop in our shop. But at the end of the day, we're located in the financial district of Chicago.
right.
So we get a lot of transactions in metal and stuff like that. And I'm learning a ton about that.
Yeah.
How it's done. And it's like, I always looked at it like, because we'll take today as an example, the price of silver the bottom fell out of it. And it's like, what do you do in those cases? Just stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot to
Because
learn.
you've got a bunch more money in your silver selling it. How do you do that? How are you able to, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's something to learn. It's the only way to learn it is to do it. Unfortunately,
Yes.
so
And I think I'm getting better with grading. That's taken a while. Although everything is cleaned.
yes, you didn't
Everything
know
is
that.
Everything is either cleaned or damaged.
That's why.
No, I expect most stuff to be decent, and it's not.
No.
And I'm really disappointed.
we're peeling away the curtains in the coin market, Mike, and
You suck.
it sucks, doesn't it?
It does suck.
I love it. Well, cool, man. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that that things are still going awesome. They haven't canned you yet for
No, I haven't done that.
not knowing what you're
I
doing,
think
and
that if they can me, there will be a revolt by the two other people that I work with. I've endeared myself to them at least.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, cool. What else you got for me tonight?
Well, let's see. We're gonna ask, what's my grading?
Well, yeah. What is my? I don't know. Do I have a song for that? No. Nope. Sure
No. No, there's no drop from James or anything like that.
don't. I can give you this one.
Okay, that's cool.
There you go.
So, yeah, I did it. So, Curious Currency, the Area of Money from Stone Internet Age by Robert D. Leonard Jr.
Cool. That looks like a fun book.
It actually is a really, really cool. It's a fairly comprehensive account of all the different types of money that have been exchanged throughout the history of mankind. the book begins with defining the terms of discussion and ultimately, what constitutes money. And I think it's really important that, you've got to kind of set the groundwork, what it is that you're talking about, and then you can talk about it. So once the discussion has been clearly focused, materials used to create money go far beyond what typically pops into your mind. But as the list continues, you realize that all of these raw materials fit and none of them are surprising. So I learned that, many things that I typically think of as just items, as end products, can also be used as currency. Chocolate bars were a favorite item of USGI's to use as traveling overseas. Cacao beans are another popular currency, just like beads or shells. And I more clearly understand the difference now as well. These were items that had purchasing power rather than items of barter. It's not like the book devolves into chickens and doctor visits, but it focuses on things that, have more universal value and are accepted by many people.
Huh.
And that's, I think, what constitutes more money. So it literally goes into everything you can think of. Slaves, tobacco, liquor, and drugs are all items used as currency in our history, but not everything has such a dark history. Coffee, tea, buttons, even encased postage stamps have been used as currency.
Sure.
So this doesn't even include the decorative things used as currency. Everything from gemstones and beads to shells and pearls, teeth, tusks, feathers, bones, shells and stones. They're all items that were used as currency, and this is all aside from the most common materials that we know, metals. This isn't even getting into metals yet. So, This is how in-depth it goes and how you kind of look at this and you're like, okay, this all makes sense, but I never really thought of it because we always think of money in terms of what we do. So the book continues all the way to the present day with our checks, notes, coins, wire transfers, and cryptocurrencies. I honestly never thought about many of these items, but as you see the evolution of man, you see the evolution of trade outside of the tribe. And that type of transaction requires something a bit more universally accepted or desirable.
Huh.
So overall, this book got an MS grade of 66. So I gave it 22 on numismatic and historical facts, 10 for being well written, 10 for entertaining, and 24 for the illustrations. The only criticisms I have of this book is that while it covers a really diverse subject matter, and it's really inclusive, some of the items were kind of covered in really short paragraphs, just blurbs. So just a bit more detail about varieties of these items might be interesting without seeming like overkill. But sometimes there's very little you can say about a specific thing.
Right.
It's like, how dry do you want this to get? So,
Here's
I'd like to see the illustrations a little better. They're a little small. This is mostly due to the small size book.
Right.
Maybe a larger page size would give more for more text and for the images to be a bit larger, but that could just be me getting old, having a particularly hard time seeing detail.
What?
So,
hard time?
You decide. Well, look, I'm getting older.
Right.
And I get it. I need the bifocals now and seeing details. Seeing details sometimes is so. But the book itself is a really cool read, and I would highly recommend. I think that it is really cool in describing all the different types of money, axe currency, stones.
They have the dolphin coins in there. Those are some of my favorites.
Yeah. What, the new ones?
No, the Obia dolphins from the Black Sea area.
I believe they do. Like I said, they kind of gloss over things. Only they don't cover anything in very much depth.
Thought I had a bag of them later.
Yeah, they don't cover things in really super amount of detail or depth. They kind of just say, well, you've got this, and then gives you at most a page and a half.
Yeah,
what that is.
That's more than you get on a lot of that stuff.
Well, yeah, but on some of it's just
even that's more than you get on some of that stuff.
Hey, I'm into the brevity thing sometimes, but just
not when you're trying to learn something, right?
Yeah, that one I'm trying to learn something.
There you go. Cool. So 66 out of 70, and it's available from our friends at Whitman. I have it pulled up here. $16.95.
Amazon.com.
Looks like they have it for sale. $16.95 for the second edition.
There you go.
Whitman.com.
There you go. And it's highly, highly entertaining and factual. That's the thing. One of the how I go about grading these things is, are they factually accurate, and are the numismatic facts inaccurate? Because a lot of times books will be one or the other.
Right.
And when you get a good numismatic author, like what generally employs, like Krauss generally employs, like Coin World generally employs,
Sure.
when you have those kind of, you don't have to worry so much about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Sounds like a cool book.
It is. But you know what else is cool?
What's that?
The cool things that walk into your shop.
I've got a doozy this week, buddy. I wish you had one. We could duel.
That was a cool segue.
That was a cool segue. I like that. See, you gotta give me a bump though, because I've got one for you.
Okay.
And I can't wait to use it.
I really do. I will have to have. See, you've got young,
right?
So you can kind of make one that's really silly, and it just kind of goes.
Yeah.
I've got adult children, so.
Well, then you're just gonna have to get creative, my friend. Can you sing?
Weird. Can I sing?
Can you hum?
You've heard me sing.
Have I?
I think so.
Probably. Well, you better warm those vocal cords up, buddy, because you got to record something. I need a bump for you, for me.
All right, so and now Matt Dinger and the coolest thing that walked into his shop.
Ooh, that
brought to you by Lost Dutchman Rare Coins, Family Values, and other things at Lost Dutchman Rare Coins.
Oh, that made my teeth feel soft. That made me feel a little weird inside. I don't know.
That's what I was going for.
All right, well, you succeeded, my friend. All right, let's talk about the coolest thing. So, for those of you that watched the Patron episode, we had a little mini coolest thing. It was a really cool 94 O'Dower that I bought in the office, graded MS64. Well, that coin has a big brother, and that is the coolest thing to walk into my shop this week. Let's take a look. This is an 1893 Carson City Morgan Silver Dollar.
Wow.
Mike, what's so special about 1893s in Carson City?
Well, it surely did. It's the last year of Carson City.
There you go. Right? That's it. It's the
and
last
they
year.
Didn't make that many of them.
It's the last year they made Morgan dollars at Carson City Mint. This coin walked into the office raw. We bought it in a big group of dollars and then sent a whole bunch of them off to PCGS, where this coin graded MS64.
Wow.
Yeah, 93 Carson City and 64 is a tough coin. Gray Sheep bid on that coin is $10,500. I just checked it today.
That's a lot of cheddar.
What's that?
That's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah, but they're just so tough to find. And the coolest thing about this coin is it's just absolutely wholesomely original. It's never been monkeyed with. It's been stuck. It was stuck in like a one of those square capital or airtight jobbies for the last probably since it was bought back in the 60s. I mean, just an absolutely awesome collection that we bought. We were really happy to get it.
So is it your opinion that this coin came from an original bank bag and was immediately put away?
Well, I mean, it sure has that look of all the other BU dollars that you see that came from.
I mean, because we know it's not from the GSA.
Nope.
There's only one 93 TC.
Yep. It definitely has the look of a fresh BU bag coin, but I mean, just it's almost inconceivable to think of a bag of 93 Carson City dollars.
Yeah.
It's just a super cool coin. Again, like I said, it's never even been dipped. That's how cool it is. It's just such a pretty coin. We looked at it and we were like, nope, not even going to touch that coin. Don't need to. It's what we call fresh. It has a fresh look to it. Like I said, it's never been dipped. It's been in a collection for a super long time. It's just one of those wonder coins that you might see, every 10 years you'll see a coin like this. So
now I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage in the fact that I can't see it, but
it's just a blast white
toning.
Nope, blast white.
Blast white.
Blast white 93 cc.
That's amazing.
It really is. When we first saw the coin, that's exactly the first thing that ran through my head is that's an amazing coin. You just do not see 93 cards in cities like this. And basically, out of like the 60 coins that we bought, they pretty much all look like this. So,
So is the coin going to go off to CAC?
yeah, we have the 94O, which also graded 64, and then this coin, and then we have, I think it's either around 50 more coins that were obviously not nearly as rare. But there's still some better date stuff in those other coins. Once all those kind of trickle back in from the grading company, we'll probably make a pretty decent sized CAC submission on the better date stuff at least.
Well, yeah, on the 93cc,
Sure.
if it gets cagged, I mean that adds what, another $1,500 to it.
Yeah, I mean it definitely is a candidate. I really think it's got the chops for it, just because again it's just so fresh. I mean you can't argue with the grade. It's not a 5. It's got a little chatter, but the coin is just super. It's a luster bomb. It's just again, and there's really nothing that you can't like about that coin. It's white. It's pretty. It's got luster. It's not been messed with.
It will be very easy to find a home for.
I sure think so. I gotta think so. So. Fun coin. I was happy to get it, and all of its friends, and so hopefully we'll once we get her back and get everybody back home to the office, we'll find some happy customers to place it with.
Absolutely.
So that was the coolest thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a shame you don't have one. So that means I automatically win by default, right?
Today you win by default.
Yeah.
I have something, and I keep meaning to take a picture of it. It is cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up in my pocket at some point.
Right.
I
like
figure out. I gotta figure out some way to get this thing.
You gotta figure out a way to buy it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but absolutely already. It's been sitting in a box on my desk for 2 weeks.
You can't collect, Mike. You can't do
I know.
You can take pictures in official capacity.
Super cool. It is super cool.
You can't collect. I'm telling you. You can try.
I know.
It's just.
I know. It's like I've given up on that idea. You know, when I started working at the other shop,
yeah,
I really stopped collecting because, you know, look, I'm going to be able to handle all kinds of stuff. I can't afford, you know, to hold a bunch of it. And to be honest with you, a lot of it doesn't interest me.
I've said it. How many times have I said it on this show? I collect vicariously through all of our customers.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty accurate. I understand it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, our customers have one.
Well, cool. That's awesome.
So that's 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. Are we?
We're tied.
We need to start keeping score. I'll make a graphic and
okay,
everything.
You do that.
Yeah.
You make little thermometers.
If you're smelling smoke, it's because my fire is burning upstairs. So
he needs to oil the wheels every once in a
while. Oil can.
So we would like to thank our contributors, patrons, the people that wrote to us, offered suggestions and ideas, posted to social media, asked questions, or in some other way supported us. We can't thank you, our listeners, enough. Without you, this entire endeavor would be pointless.
Yep.
Thanks to Tony Alvarez and the Tony Alvarez Band for them at TonyAlvarezBand.com. Do you realize that after we posted the show last week, Tony Alvarez actually put up a like?
Really? I didn't even notice. No.
Yeah, it was cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so he's paying attention every once in a while. Thank you to Justin Irvin for his contributions to our YouTube page. And do we have something we want to tease?
It's coming. We're going to have a little something. It's a little something special for you guys.
Something working on with Justin. We think you'll like this.
Yeah, it'll be something special for you guys.
Yeah. So to subscribe to the channel, go to youtube.com or the YouTube app and search Coin Show Podcast. Click subscribe, hit the notifications bell. You'll get alerts whenever we post a new video.
Yep.
Bigger thanks. No, just a big thanks to our Facebook coordinator, Ernesto. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't checked it out yet, our Facebook page is easy to find, www.facebook.com/coinshowradio.slash whatever. The articles that Ernesto linked today are amazing, and we'll share the posts and articles that you know. Let's see.
Still
Anything
got
else?
a little tweaking to do for our technology. I've noticed some issues tonight, but I think I know how to fix them. So
Okay. Well, I mean, we've been doing a lot of things with technology, and it's all thanks to our patrons. So a huge thank you to them. One of these days, maybe what we'll do is like have a credits page, and maybe we can put their names up there.
or we just mention a couple every episode. Why not?
Well, I mean, but then, okay, so go grab a couple.
Do. I'm terrible at pronouncing
So
names,
at
so
this
this
point,
should be fun.
if you're saying to yourself, "Wow, being a patron sounds really cool," how do I become a patron of the Coin Show? It's super easy. Just go to patreon.com/coin show. You can make a one-time donation, or you can support the podcast every month. If you support the podcast at a $5 or higher, you will have access to the super secret podcast, which is our patron-only edition that we publish on the weeks that we don't publish the podcast.
Let's rattle off a couple here.
Yeah.
Thank you to Mr. Adam B.I.G.
Thank
No,
you,
Adam. Good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
Let's see here. Phil Ham. Phil Ham. Thank you, Phil. Let's rattle off a couple more here. Steve Farrell. Thank you, Steve. And how about a Mr. Jeff Curtis? Thank you, Jeff. So, a few of our patrons.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
those are our patrons, and
That's a few.
there's
We'll
lots more where
start
that came
rattling
from.
off a few every episode. I think will be fun.
yeah, I think that'll be fun.
It'll be a fun way to
be like
appreciate
watching
you guys.
Romper Room in the Magic Mirror for you. So,
That's it, buddy. We're done.
yeah, that's pretty much it. So, whatever, however you consume our social media pages, share your thoughts with us, send us an email, tell us how we can improve your Coin Show podcast experience, and
Yeah,
we'll
one
try and
idea.
get that done for you. So for the Coin Show, I'm Mike,
And I'm Matt.
and we'll talk to you next time on the Coin Show.